Here's a fun fact I like to pull on people. My Neighbor Totoro and Grave of the Fireflies both came out on the same day. And man, what a massive disconnect between the two. Because what Fireflies was, Totoro wasn't, and what Totoro was, Fireflies definitely wasn't. It's also comparable to Barefoot Gen, which I've already covered. But while Barefoot Gen has its equal joyous times to melancholic ones, this one is definitely closer to being a full-on emotional journey. And both are quite good at what they do. But what Grave of the Fireflies does slightly better over Barefoot Gen is its consistent relentlessness. This is a harsh movie. I would say it's a roller coaster of emotions, but roller coasters go up and down. This one tilts more on the slopier side of things. Now, that doesn't automatically make it bad or unpleasant. On the contrary, this is a beautiful film in how mean and cruel it is, and that's thanks in part to its storytelling. The movie starts with our main characters dead. Happy start. As a spirit, a young boy named Seita experiences his life through flashback during the height of World War II. With him is his toddler sister Setsuko as they live through life's trials during and following the bombing of his hometown, including the death of their mother, homelessness, and other tribulations. And as seen in the first parts of the film, it's a ride. This was the first film in Ghibli's repertoire that wasn't directed by Hayao Miyazaki. In fact, Miyazaki had almost nothing to do with the film, as he was busy working on Totoro at the time. Instead, it was Isao Takahata who directed and wrote the film, and in a way, though his name wouldn't be more known than that of Miyazaki's, his influence would prove to be vital to the longevity of Studio Ghibli's presence. Every time I watch this movie, it gets harder and harder to get through in the best way possible. There's always something I can appreciate in finding something new in the tragedies of what is supposed to be the simple life turned upside down. And as I grow older, they even become more relevant than ever before, as these hard to swallow lessons simply become more understandable, all the while still being very tough to grasp. I'll admit I've never cried at this film, probably because I always knew what was coming and always tried to look at it in an objective way. But with that, there are objectively heartbreaking parts to it, so much that it's a well-known tearjerker regardless if it could never jerk me. Phrasing. It certainly helps that Seita is an understandable, genuine character. He wants to be a soldier like his father, he holds a lot of pride in himself and his country, he wants to do the right thing, and wants what's best for his sister. So when it comes to a point where he has to come to terms that he's not invincible, it's a convincing performance. There's a real tragedy amidst the circumstances dealt to him, especially when you know the true inspiration of the film. The relationship between Seita and Setsuko is a beautiful one. They support each other, and they understand each other as siblings do, and they really only have each other to rely on. The situation they find themselves in confines to the tragic elements of the story, making their status as victims of war all the more real and earthly. The emotional moments are heartbreaking, and that is due to the strong connection these two share in this life they find themselves in. The film's meaning can be interpreted in a multitude of ways. I've heard people call it an anti-war film, a cautionary tale about pride, a look into realism in real-life tragedies, and I think the thing to take from all this is the fact that it is a movie that relies much on experience rather than imagination. Almost everyone's gone through heavy traumas and felt like they had to be strong in the face of hardship, and seeing Seita and Setsuko's life acting exactly as that wrenches on those feelings of pain and turns them into a sort of catharsis that doesn't play out well, but is still an emotional journey that some people may need. For Takahata's first film, it's a damn good one. There's no doubt a ton of thought and effort went into the making of the movie, and its beauty is up there in Ghibli's standards of telling a great story with wonderful visuals. I'm sure not everyone's going to like it, but everyone I've met who's seen it absolutely love it. For me, it's a movie I don't love, but can really appreciate what it goes through. It has that charm and its tragedy that effectively make it memorable and true to its purest form. If you can, see if you can check it out sometime. It's a film worth mulling over.